And now I would like to introduce a dear friend of mine, Jesús Mantas, a senior managing partner at IBM, so that he can share his experiences, insights, and the latest findings of a current IBM Institute for Business Values survey. Jesús.
Thank you, Claudia. It's great to kick off Hispanic Heritage Month with you. You know, last Monday, I visited the hospital. Victor, the Uber driver, got me there safely. Two of the three nurses, Maria and Cristina, spoke Spanish to me. Right after the visit to the hospital, I met with one of our prominent PhDs in the field of quantum computing. Her name is Zaira. And when I came back home, Rodrigo got me the mail. Now, I'm Hispanic, so perhaps I'm more aware of other Hispanics and the work they do. But when Hispanics represent 1 out of every 5 people in this country, it'll be hard not to take note. It's also hard not to take note the headlines during the pandemic and how Hispanics and people of color disproportionately serve on the front lines and have been impacted by it. But step back from those front lines and go to the corner offices of US businesses. That is a different story. Hispanics represent almost 20% of the population in the US, but only 4% of the executive ranks. And that is despite the fact that Hispanics have contributed near 25% of the US GDP growth last decade. In fact, if Hispanic GDP in the US was its own country, it would be the 8th largest economy in the world. So yes, of course, there is tons of economic benefit that is created by the fact that Hispanics are the fastest growing minority in the US. And we also power the American workforce. Since the financial crisis, Hispanics have been responsible for 74% of the growth of the US labor workforce. Not only economy, not only workforce, but we're also the youngest minority. 6 in 10 Hispanics today in the US are 35 years old or younger. And yet, despite size, power, influence, youth, we still have a significant gap of Hispanics in senior leadership. So over the next decade, we have a chance to close this gap. And given the demographics, if we shape this Hispanic generation to do well, it'll be a good story for everybody in the country. And if we don't, really, we don't have any other demographic that will be able to pick up the slack. So what do we do? The IBM Institute of Business Value recently conducted a national survey of Hispanic Americans. The highlights confirm that professional advancement opportunities have played a key role in helping today's senior Hispanic executives achieve their success. But the survey also shows that younger leaders are not getting those advancement opportunities. Only 30% of junior managers say that they feel they have access to mentorship programs or on-the-job training. Only 20% of them say that they're empowered to overcome their professional challenges, and most worrying, 67% of them say that they believe they have to work harder than others to succeed because of their Hispanic identity. So what are we going to do about this? So when I think of my own journey and my own path to success, there have been 3 essential factors that I believe help me succeed: education, mentorship, and advocacy. So we have an opportunity to, all of us, take steps in these 3 areas to make a difference. And for example, at IBM, we're going to take steps to advance all 3. On education, IBM's P-Tech program is already active in many of these school districts. As a matter of fact, over 77 school districts in the US are in areas where the demographics show over 50% of Hispanic population. So we're going to continue to expand the P-Tech program. We're going to continue to make sure that we put emphasis on those school districts with high Hispanic density. In addition, we're going to be providing mentors for Hispanics in all of these selected school districts, so everybody in those schools has an advocate and they can achieve their full potential. And personally, myself, I'm going to increase my commitment to mentoring Hispanics and help create opportunities for them and advance them to leadership positions. But success is not a solo stat. It's not going to take just one of us doing something. It's going to take all of us doing something, corporate leaders, NGOs, innovators, entrepreneurs, and even any average citizen, whether you're Hispanic or not. Because a society where the Hispanic community thrives is the kind of society that I would like to live in the next decade. And it's not just because I'm a Hispanic. It's also because investing on the fastest growing, youngest minority group in the US will help everyone in this country as we shape a more inclusive, more diverse, better performing society in this country.
Wow, gracias, Jesus, for those fascinating insights. We're excited to see more of the findings when we come together so that we can learn more about getting into a path for Hispanics to become better leaders.